What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to talk about color grading. When I say color grading, I mean taking footage out of the back of your camera and bringing it into Adobe and giving it that last little bit of flair, artistic push, your spin on it, whatever you want to call it. This is the process that you do last. This is after you've made your edit. This is after you brought everything into your timeline. You've had your transitions, got everything else done. You're ready to hit export. The last thing you do is go and color grade. Okay, so for starters, we're going to open up an Adobe Premiere project file. I've already done this, and I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you already know how to do so. Okay, well, this is it. I have it all condensed into one section right now, just because for the most part, I'm going to assume that, again, your project's done, your editing's done, everything is ready to go, and you just want to get these clips in, corrected, and colored. First things first, I'm just going to grab all of these clips, bring them into my timeline. Now these are all clips that are 240, so they're already slowed down, they're from the FS5, and I try to grab a bunch of clips from random places, right? Some from open water shoots, from ice fishing, some drone shots, a little bit of everything. For starters, again, assuming this edit isn't an edit, it's just a bunch of clips on a timeline. So again, there isn't going to be, like, say, a fast tempo to it, but I want to try and show you how to get clips to look the same, and then again, to add that little bit of flair. Again, I'm going to actually include that little piece in the download and description. I'll talk about that later. So first things first, we're going to grab go down to your bottom of the timeline here. We're going to go to a new item and add an adjustment layer. Now my timeline is 1920 by 1080, which is full HD. So it comes out the back of the camera. Click OK. I'm going to drag that right into my timeline here. Let's make it nice and big so it's easy to see. Go like that. Go like this, make it a little easier to see. Bring this down and over, just so we have a little bit more room to work. Okay, so the way Adobe works, and the way a lot of picture editing, photo editing layers, just in general, you do something to the top layer, it affects everything underneath it. So this is my video file right here, and this is my adjustment layer. And so what I'm going to do, anything I make as an adjustment layer should filter underneath it, instead of going through each clip and making these adjustments or tweaks to each clip. Now again, let's say you go in here and you see one clip is really far, you know, it's overexposed or something like that, you know, it looks crazy crazy hot. Well, the simple solution would be to click the clip, adjust it, make sure it's consistent, and along with the other clips, it has that same vibe, and then add the color after. Again, you don't want to sit there and make these adjustments to every single file for color, only once they're all even or the same, or they're all, you know, exposed the same. So I'm going to assume, and I guess I really haven't looked, I could go through here, that most of these shots are going to, actually, you know, these are drone shots, so I'm just going to they're shot in 4K, I know, so I'm going to make sure these guys are only about half, 50%. That way I can use the whole frame. One more drone shot here. Most of my drone shots are shot in 4K, so I have to go back and actually make them back to 1080 by cutting them in half, or shrinking them in half. So we have all of our clips here. Again, these are just some clips thrown together. Some of them are real time, some of them are slow-mos. I think most of them are slow-mos. That's a lot of fun. But as you can see, as a starter, these clips look nice, and they're evenly colored in terms of the exposure, so I don't really have to do anything with that, but they're missing like a flare. I want to try and make these sequences the same in terms of how they look. Let's start with the first one here. So we have two shots, one of a bass boat from behind, and one a really nice low angle there. Both are exposed correctly, so I'm not going to have to mess with that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is give us a really solid start. I'm going to import what's called a Luts. Now, a Luts is designed to specifically give the images and or your video a certain look. What I mean by this is it'll already give you an advantage in terms of color mixtures. It's a preset, so to speak. You can make your own, you can buy them online. The biggest thing I want to stress is that just slapping an imported file, an import preset, in this case a Luts, on your video isn't the end solution. For this video, I'm going to show you how to do something quickly, but in reality, if you want to make it look as best as possible, you'd be going in and doing these adjustments yourself. That's a completely different program. I should say you can do this within Premiere, but there are a lot of other programs out there. Colorista, I mean, there's all kinds of color grading software out there. But for the most part, I found that this is the easiest way, especially when doing a vlog or something quick where you don't want to sit there and tweak every which color. I'm going to give you guys one today that I call Summer Blaze. It makes everything nice and warm. I think there's a lot of contrast in it. It does really well on leaves, trees, things of like outdoor in nature, which I think is most of what you guys are probably filming. Again, this isn't just a slap on and be done with it, but it gives you a really good start. I'll probably won't have to adjust a whole lot of things after I do so. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to my adjustment layer, click it, go up to my Lumetri color, and then it says import Luts. And I'm going to go to browse. Let's see where I got it saved here. Go to vlogs, color grading, Summer Blaze. It is a .cube file. Again, I'll have this linked below. You just have to download it, same thing. Click on it, open. So, boom, immediately you see a difference in the footage, right? It goes from pretty bland and kind of gray to not so bad. We look through some of these things and it's getting there for sure. It already has a little more realistic look to it. Typically before I actually import that LUTs, I give the S-Log a curve. So let me do that real quick first too. I'll go in the adjustment layer, click on top of it. I'm going to go to my curves down here. And because, again, S-Log captures more dynamic range, hence it's a flatter profile, you need to contrast it back up. So it looks almost bland and gray, and you need to bring it back when you bring it into post. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a little bit of contrast down, and then I'm going to go on my highlights and bring them a little bit up, just a little bit above that. And you can mess with this up and down all over the place. It depends on your exposure and your shot and the whole 9 yards. But as you can see right away, we're looking much, much better. Let's take a look at it. Let's play through. Boat looks good. It, yeah, definitely looks good. Much better than when we started. I'll make this even bigger for you guys so you can see. It's a nice shot. Here, there's not a lot of color in the background. So what I'm actually going to do is going to go back to my basic thing. I'm going to bring everything up a little bit hotter, drop my shadows down so the blacks can just kind of melt in, because my focus really isn't there. It's more on him and the boat itself. Grab my highlights, bring them a little bit up, make some of those peak. And I think already after maybe a smidge of saturation, boom, we have a fun, pretty good shot. It looks pretty good to me. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on all of these. So again, guys, this top layer here, it affects everything underneath it. So if you scroll through here, you're going to see that a lot of these clips and a lot of these shots are going to be pretty close to where they need to be. Again, you could go over exposure if you need to, but compared to if I click this little eye logo here and then takes that adjustment layer off, compared to what it was to what it is now, looks much, much better. This is a wedding shot from a friend of mine. I got married in the hills of Georgia, and I went and shot the wedding. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at the dress going across the leaves there. Absolutely gorgeous. After this, guys, this clip here looks a little bit hot to me, so I'm going to click the clip individually, not the whole adjustment layer, just click individually, and then go bring my shadows down a little bit more, and even my exposure down, then my highlights back up, and just give that nice little flare. Might warm it up a little bit too. Actually, it looks a little better like that. Boom. We are good. Looks more consistent than with this shot, right? Beforehand it was a little bit light, a little too overexposed. Again, I could be bringing up my curves and my entire spectrum here, my histogram, and I could look at it and actually look into the detail of like what's going on, but I'm just trying to be quick. I'm just trying to show you guys exactly how you can do this relatively easy on your own without having to go too crazy in depth. Okay, well, let's go rifle through a couple of these. There's a wedding shot here, they're going to kiss along the fence. We got one here that's going to be a drone shot in the mountains. Now again, let's take that layer off and see what it looked like versus what it looks like with that layer on. Much, much better. And again, I could go into this clip itself, grab some of the shadows, bring those down. You could do all kinds of crazy stuff to it if you like. It just depends on how much you really want to get into adjusting each clip. Yeah, look at that. From original to boom, just gorgeous. Those blues in the mountains, so you can even bring some of those out if you wanted to. That sun looks nice, kind of golden though. Go to a real-time clip here. This was on a shoot with Mackenzie and doing some archery stuff. Heck yeah, looks phenomenal. So again, guys, this is a simple LUTs that you can import. It's going to give you a really good start and a good baseline for what you need to do to make your footage go from that kind of standard flat dull to looking much more rigid, much better. Just to recap, we did one, gave it a basic S-curve. Just go to your curves right here, bring it down, up. Obviously don't want that. Look how gross you could make it. No, thank you. I give it a basic S-curve on your adjustment layer, as you can see there. And then right here, there's Maggie on the ice. We were doing a fish addictions deal. And again, just a lot of really cool ways to make your footage look that much better. This is actually up in Canada at Wekusko Falls. Here's a beautiful shot of us driving in the along the road there, going up. Super cool. So simple as that, guys. Give your footage a basic curve to bring back that contrast after shooting it in a picture profile. It'd be more severe or less severe depending on if you're in S-Log2 or Cine 4, and that's a whole nother video we can talk about too. And then import a LUTs, add an adjustment filter or adjustment layer, excuse me. Bring in a LUTs, add an adjustment layer, and that's it for the most part. Again, color grading, guys, is something that I do not consider myself an expert at. Typically, if I'm doing a shoot for a client, I will go in and individually grade these specifically. I do use some LUTs once in a while to give me a good base start, but then going in and fine-tuning them is really where you find your creative twist, so to speak. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, any comments, definitely comment below. I'd be happy to answer the questions. And yeah, that is pretty much it. This has been a video on how to turn your footage boring, gray, and sad and gross to something gorgeous and brilliant. That was really lame, but it would have been cool to like have like the beat, like as soon as I hit it, like boom, pause, done, out of here. Okay, all right.